Hi, welcome. My name is Donna Van Wyck, and I'll be taking you through a 40 minutes flow class, yoga flow class today. Just something to get you warmed up, a beginner's entry level yoga flow class in the style of inside flow yoga. This is Phantom. He might be joining us. We'll see how he feels. He's currently licking my toes. So go ahead, grab your mat, and we'll get started in just a minute. Hi, welcome back. So we're going to start in a comfortable seated position today. You can cross the legs. You can even straighten them if you prefer. Hands are going to be resting on the knees, and we're going to start just by closing the eyes and bringing all the attention to your breathing. Notice the inhales as you breathe in. Notice the exhale as you breathe out. And just try to relax into this seated position. Let your shoulders drop away from the ears. Feel yourself growing taller as you breathe in and open up the diaphragm. And then we'll begin with a deep inhale breath and sighing out the mouth. So start by breathing in through the nose fully, holding the breath for a moment, and then open your mouth and release. Just feeling all that tension leaving the body. And then we'll begin by bringing the chin to the chest. So just let your head fall forward. Keep your spine straight. And then roll your chin from your left to your right shoulder. Let your head be heavy. Neck is relaxed. So while we do this, we actually feel the sides of the neck and the back of the neck stretching, all those muscles through the sides of the neck. Take your neck around in a big circle. Let your head roll back. And then take it in the opposite direction for a big circle. And bring it back to center. Roll your shoulders a few times here, releasing some tension, some stress. And let's roll them around in the opposite direction. And relax. I'm going to place the left hand down on the ground and reach up through your right fingertips as high as you can. Try to feel that side body stretch. Take your hand up and over your head and start to lean to the left, keeping your right knee relaxed, so don't let it lift. And then look down at the ground. Turn your head towards your knee. Drop your right hand just in front of the knee. Sweep it along the floor. Just let your spine relax here. Place the right hand down. Reach up through the left. Inhale up and over your head. Exhale to release the left hand. Sweep it along the floor. And we'll just move side to side like that with the breath. So inhale, we reach up. Take the stretch. Exhale, we move over to the other side. Inhale. Exhale. Just do that one more time each side. And come back to neutral position. Let's go ahead and bring our legs wide in front of us. So you can take them very wide if you have the flexibility. If you don't, just a small little V shape with the legs is fine. We're going to just draw some circles here. Shoulders over the hips. You can, again, relax your shoulders and your spine here. And then maybe you can make those circles a little bigger if that feels good. And we'll take it in the opposite direction. And coming back to neutral, inhale, nice lift through the spine. I'm going to turn towards the front of the mat, going into a pigeon pose. So you could start, if you want, with a half pigeon pose. You could just stay upright. We're going to Bring our right knee next to our right wrist. Take a deep breath in and exhale, fall into pigeon. If that's too intense for you right now, that's fine. Just go ahead and do a figure 4 pigeon on your back. I'll show you what that looks like quickly. So we just line up back and we thread the fingers around the left thigh. So whichever one you're doing, we're going to hold that for about 3 breaths. So just trying to relax here through the upper body. The lower body is doing the stretching and the work. Try to think about releasing the jaw, relaxing into neck and shoulders. One more deep breath. And we're going to roll over onto that right hip, sweep your left leg all the way up to the front of the mat, cross it over your right knee so we can go into seated spinal twist. Take a deep breath in, reach up with the hands, turn towards your left knee, wrap your right arm around it, and look behind you. Try to keep a tall spine here. See if you can deepen that twist by pressing your fingertips into the ground and using the strength of both of your arms. Wringing out the torso for one more breath. And then we'll come back to that wide-legged position. Let's go ahead, inhale here, bring your hands to the floor and just walk forward as much as you can. Even if you just lean a little forward, that's fine. We're going to see if we can walk the fingertips again, really feeling a stretch there through the thighs. Relax for 2 more breaths. And then walk the hands back towards the legs. And we're going to go to the back of the mat for pigeon. So again, choose if you want to do a full pigeon or if you're going to lie on your back for figure 4. If you're lying on your back for figure 4, we're going to cross the left leg over the right thigh. And again, we just kind of settle into this pose, really try to relax into it. I know it's an intense pose, especially for the beginning of the class. But to get the full stretch, you want to relax your upper body and let the weight of the upper body press down into the leg. And then try to just push through that discomfort. There shouldn't be any pain. You can always stop if there is, but there's definitely going to be some stretching, intense stretching. Hold there for 2 more breaths. And gently press up, roll into your left hip. Bring your right leg around for seated spinal twist again. Reach your hands up to the ceiling, turn towards your right knee and pull it towards you. And then press your fingertips into the ground. We're almost pushing away from the ground so we can get a taller spine. And wring that torso out. Turn as much as you can for 2 and for 1. And come back to center. From here, we're just going to go into the hands and knees for a moment. Tabletop position, open your fingers wide. And we're going to draw some circles over the knees using the hips. You can walk your hands a little forward and bring your knees further apart for these circles. And then take these circles in opposite direction. And gently drop the hips to the heels for a moment of child's pose. Bring your head to rest on the mat. Relax into the upper body. Take a deep breath in. Open the mouth, release. And we're going to straighten out the arms. Open the fingers wide again and press down into the palms. We're going to curl the spine into a bowl shape as we begin to rise up out of our child's pose into tabletop. Curl your toes under. Press your hips up towards the ceiling and begin to pedal into the legs here in our downward facing dog.
So we'll begin to stretch there through the back of the legs one at a time as we pedal, bending into knees. Let's reach one leg up into the sky. Give it a big stretch. Press the toes as high as you can. Bend your knee. Circle your ankle. Reach your leg back up into the sky. Inhale. Exhale, bring the foot down. And then reach your opposite leg up. And same thing here. Bend the knee. Circle the ankle. And reach the leg all the way up. Exhale, back to our downward facing dog. We're going to take the gaze between the hands and walk the feet up towards the front of the mat. We'll start with an inhale breath, straightening out the spine, lifting it into table shape. Exhale, forward fold, let your spine relax, let your head sink, and then roll up, a little softness in the knees, one vertebra at a time. We're going to keep the arms nice and heavy as we roll up. And then eventually, as we get to a straight spine, lift your shoulders, lift your elbows, and lift your fingertips. So imagine reaching up towards the sky, unfurling your arms. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale, we're going to circle the hands back down towards the feet, forward fold. Halfway lift again, inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Soften the knees, roll up again, one vertebra at a time. Lift your shoulders. Imagine taking off your shirt. That's kind of the same motion. The shoulders, the elbows, the fingertips, and then the hands. Circle all the way down. And then we're going to press the right fingertips into the ground and reach your left hand up towards the ceiling. You're going to feel your left leg straighten and your right knee bend. Bring the hand back down to the ground. Circle your right arm up. Let the right leg straighten, left knee bend, and bring it back down to the ground. We're going to roll up again. Reach your hands up towards the ceiling. And this time, as you circle them down, bring them behind your back, interlace the fingers, open the shoulders wide, take a deep breath in. And exhale, forward fold. And your hands are going to stay bound as you float them off the back over your head. You can have a little softness in the knees here, but completely relax into your neck. And then maybe sway it out a little side to side. So shift the weight from your left foot into your right foot. And then we'll come to center, release the hands to the back, unbind the fingers, let them slide all the way down the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bring your hands to the mat. Take a big step back with your left leg. And from here, we're in our runner's lunge pose. We're going to bend into our back knee, let it tap the mat, and then see if you can straighten into your legs just as much as possible. Bend into the knee as you breathe in, look forward. As you exhale and straighten the legs, let your head drop towards your knee. We'll just do that a few more times, inhaling to exhaling. Just a gentle way to warm the legs up. If you want to peel your front toes off the floor as you straighten the legs, you're welcome to try that out. One more time. Bring your knee all the way down to the ground this time, and then walk your hands back. We're going to uncurl our left toes, straighten your right leg, point your toes up towards the ceiling, take a deep breath in, and begin to drop your head down towards your knee. See if you can pull your toes back towards your face, flexing the foot. And just breathe into the stretch, breathe into the leg. I'm going to walk the hands forward, back to runner's lunge. Pressing into the left hand, we'll come in, curl the back toes under, lift your knee, and circle your right arm up towards the ceiling. So we're in a runner's lunge twist. Go ahead, take your right hand down to the mat, step back to a plank pose. Flow through a high to low push-up. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale to a downward facing dog. Deep breath in here and exhale. Let your heels drop towards the floor. Look up towards the top of the mat, and however you get there is up to you. You can step or you could jump. When we get there, we're going to halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Rise up towards the ceiling and fill your arms. Circle hands all the way down to the mat. And take a big step back with your right leg for runner's lunge. From here, we're going to tap the back knee to the ground, straighten into both legs. Same thing we did on the other side. Try to let the breath join in. So there's the inhale to look forward. The exhale to drop the head. If you can't straighten your leg all the way, that's fine. Just as much as you can. I'll do that one more time. Drop your back knee to the ground. Walk your hands back for half splits pose. Point your toes up at the ceiling and release your head down. And just hold. Again, see if you can relax the certain parts of the body that don't have to be working. Your jaw, the muscles in the face. Finding the breath. Then look forward, coming back to runner's lunge. Curl your back toes under, bring your back knee off the ground. Turn towards your left knee and circle your left hand up towards the ceiling. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, bring your left hand down to the ground. Step back to plank. Flow through, high to low push-up. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. Let's rest here for a moment. Deep breath in. And open the mouth side out. Once again, looking up towards the front of the mat, bring the feet between the hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Rise all the way up towards the ceiling again. Extend your arms high. Bring your palms together, and then at the heart center, sit down into a chair pose here and sink your weight of the body back into your heels. Hold there. And then bring your hands all the way down to your knees. Your palms are facing your knees. We're going to link our thumbs. Bring them in front of the knees. Circle the hands forward. Up and over your head. Take a deep back bend. Inhale. Exhale. Circle hands all the way down towards the mat. Halfway lift. Plant your hands down on the mat. Step back with the left leg. Good. From here, we're just going to go ahead and rise up to a crescent pose. So reach your hands up. Hold and sink into your front knee, but straighten your back leg a little bit more. So we're going to really find that stretch and deepen it. Then bring your hands down to the mat. Bring your right hand up, so we're back in runner's lunge rotated. And then bring that right hand down to the mat, but place it inside of your right foot. So your thumbs are touching here. Hands are next to each other. Drop your back heel towards the mat and point your toes towards the right side of the mat. And I'm going to go to the back of the mat for Ninjasana. So you can walk the hands to the back of the mat. You could just sweep your hands across, whatever feels comfortable, holding Ninjasana, sinking the hips a little lower. You might even find your right toe pop off the mat and lift towards the ceiling for a deeper stretch. And then we're going to go back towards the front of the mat. Place your hands down, step back to plank, flow through high to low push-up. Inhale to up dog, exhale to downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in for the nose and gently release. Look up towards the top of the mat. Bring your feet between your hands. Maybe you try a little jump this time. Halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Rise up, squeeze your belly muscles with an exhale, and when you get up, inhale to lift the arms. Bring your palms together, sit down into a chair pose. Hands come to the heart. Let your hands begin to travel all the way down in front of the knees. We're going to link those thumbs again. Circle your hands up towards the ceiling. Breathe in and go into a back bend. And then release the thumbs. Circle all the way down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, place your hands down on the mat. Take a big step back with the right leg. Runner's lunge pose. Rise up, crescent pose. Inhale. And we'll just hold this for a moment while you can see you can deepen the pose here. So bend into front knee. See if you can straighten into back leg without arching the back too much. So there's also a bit of core engagement here, just to keep that spine straight as possible. And then exhale, bring both hands down to the mat. Circle your right arm up, rotated runner's lunge. And then bring the hand down inside of the left foot. So again, your thumbs touch, palms are together. Drop your back heel to the mat. And I'm going to do the advanced ninjasana or skandasana pose where we just sweep back without even walking the hands. You can choose if you want to walk your hands to the back of the mat. If you need to place a hand down to support you, that's fine. We're going to hold for another breath. And then we're going to sweep the hands to the front of the mat, placing them down for plank pose and moving through that high to low push-up. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, release. Then we're just going to rest here for a couple of breaths. So you can choose if you would like to take a child's pose. There's an opportunity. We've got a few more breaths. Let's do about 5 breaths here. Or if you want to hold downward facing dog, if you're comfortable, then see if you can really find that lengthening up through the spine in your down dog. Press your hips as far back as you can. And see if you can use downward facing dog as a resting pose. We're going to start to flow a little faster. So we're going to start by extending the right leg up into the sky as high as you can. And then exhale, bring your knee into your chest. Lift the knee as high as you can. Place the foot between the hands for runner's lunge. And rise up into crescent pose. Exhale, take your hands down to the mat. Circle your right arm up towards the ceiling. So we're going to runner's lunge twist. And then ninjasana to the back of the mat. So place your heel down, sweep your arms back. And take it to the front of the mat. And we're going to go into crescent pose. So we'll place the feet for crescent in runner's lunge position. We're going to circle the right arm up first, and then the left. The right hand is just going to fall on the thigh of the back leg, and the left hand reaches up and over the head for a big stretch, and we're now in reverse crescent pose. Okay, let's hold it for another breath. And then we're going to go into warrior 2. So circle your arms around, place your back heel down, sink into that front knee. Facing the left side of the mat, take a deep breath in. Sink a little bit more into your front knee, drop. And from here, we're going to go into side angle pose. So here's one variation of side angle. Another one would be hand inside a foot. From side angle, we're going to reach the hand up and over your head for a deep breath. And then we're going to circle the arm down towards the floor, and we're going to go into triangle pose. So as your arm comes up, we straighten into front leg. Take a deep breath in here. Look down at the mat, bring your left hand down, frame your front foot, bend your knee, step back to plank, flow through, high to low push-up, inhale to up dog, exhale to down dog. Resting breath, that's just relax into those heels. Setting ourselves up for the other side. We'll begin by lifting the left leg up into the sky. Bring your knee to your chest. Place your foot between your hands, runner's lunge. Inhale, rise up, crescent pose. Exhale, bring your hands back down. Left hand is going to circle up for rotated runner's lunge. And then it's going to come down inside of the left foot. Drop your back heel, skandasana, ninjasana to the back of the mat. And as we flow towards the front of the mat, set your feet up for crescent pose. Left arm circles back first, right arm follows, and left hand lands on your thigh. Hold it for a breath in and a breath out. Let's take it into warrior two. Facing the right side of the mat this time. Settle into warrior two. Sink into that front knee. Good. See if you can sink a little bit more into your front knee. And then we're going to go into side angle pose. Extend your arm up and over your head for extended side angle. Deep breath in. Look down towards the mat. Circle your hand down, and as you bring it up, straighten into your front leg. So triangle pose. Take your gaze back down towards the mat. Place your right hand down. Frame your front foot. Bend the knee. Step back plank. Flow through. High to low push-up. Inhale to up dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. Good. Hold it for a couple of resting breaths. Take a child's pose if you need it. We're going to do that same flow, but we're going to start to move one breath per movement. Let's begin by bringing the right leg up into the sky. Runner's lunge pose. Inhale, crescent. Exhale, place your hands down on the mat. Rotated runner's lunge. Right hand up, left hand down. Ninjasana to the back of the mat. And then crescent pose, reverse to the front of the mat. Right hand lands on your back thigh, left hand reaches up. Into warrior two pose. From warrior two, we're going to keep the arms moving, going into side angle pose. Circle your arm down and take it into Trikonasana. Exhale, bring your hand down to the ground. Step back to plank. Flow through to downward facing dog. Rest for 2 breaths. And then left leg reaches up towards the ceiling. Runner's lunge. Inhale, crescent pose. Hands down to the floor, exhale. Inhale into out, rotated runner's lunge. Back of the mat for Skandasana, facing the right side of the mat. As we flow forward, you'll see the left hand is already leading the way, right hand follows. Place your left hand on your thigh, reach upright, take a deep breath in for the stretch, and then warrior two facing the right side of the mat, straight into side angle pose. Extend your arm up over your head. Look down towards the mat, make a big circle, triangle pose. Inhale. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to plank, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale to exhale. We're going to do that one more time, and I'm going to add on a balance pose. So let's start with right leg up into the sky. Inhale. Exhale, runner's lunge. Rise, crescent pose. Hands to the mat. Runner's lunge, rotated, right hand circles up. Right hand comes inside of foot, back of the mat, Skandasana. Front of the mat into reverse crescent pose, right hand up and over onto the leg, left hand reaches. Good, warrior two pose, left side of the mat. Take it into our side angle. Make a big circle for triangle and pause. So from triangle pose, we're going to look down at the floor and go into balancing half moon. We're going to shift all the weights into the front foot, start to bend that front knee, and then launch yourself into that balancing half moon. Right hand down, balancing on our right leg. See if you can flex your left foot, that's the lifted leg, And open your shoulders. You might even be able to take your gaze up towards the ceiling. Let's hold it for one more breath. And we're going to go into rotated Ardha Chandrasana. So the left hand comes down to the mat or the floor. The right hand begins to lift, and you're going to feel your left toes pointing down to the ground now. We're going to see if we can open the shoulders towards the right side of your mat. Take a deep breath in. Reach a little bit more, twist the torso. And then we're going to go back to runner's lunge. Both hands down, step your left foot back, step your right foot back, and high tunnel push-up. Inhale to up dog, exhale to downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in, and release. Good, one more resting breath. And let's move with that left leg. Reach it up towards the ceiling. Runner's lunge, left foot forward. Rise, crescent pose. Hands down to the mat. Rotated runner's lunge, left hand up. Skandasana to the back of the mat. And crescent pose, reverse front of the mat. Inhale. Exhale, take it into warrior two. Side angle pose. Circle arm for triangle pose and pause. Look down at the mat. Prepare yourself for triangle by bending into the front knee, beginning to launch yourself forward. Right, you can get into triangle, into Ardha Chandrasana pose any way you want. You don't have to do it the same way that I do. We're going to see if we can take the gaze up towards the ceiling if you're feeling stable. And then before we move into rotated Ardha Chandrasana, take your gaze back down to the floor, both hands down on the floor. Lift your left hand and twist towards the left side of the mat. Good. Point your right toes down to the ground. Flex that right foot for two. And for one. Both hands down. Step back, runner's lunge. Plant your hands, plank pose. Flow through high to low push-up. Inhale to up dog. Exhale to down dog. And then we'll take a child's pose. So just drop your knees, hips to the heels. Relax for a few breaths. Any variation of child's pose that you need right now. Go ahead, and then we're just going to walk the hands back towards the knees. So we come to sitting on the haunches. Bring your palms together behind your back, interlace your fingers. Take a deep stretch. Open your heart. Expand. Now bring your chin to neutral level. Just turn the head from side to side as far as you can. Stretching out the neck. Now we're going to rise up onto the knees. So hands are going to just place behind the back, supporting the lower back. And we're going to keep the body as straight as a plank as we go into a variation of camel pose. So it's a back bend. We're going to begin by breathing in and opening the chest. So the back bend actually occurs more in the upper back than the lower back. We don't want to compress into the lower back. So we begin by breathing in, opening the chest, preparing us for the upper back bend, and then let your head begin to fall back. Press those hands into your lower back, pull the elbows together, hold. Now if you want to go into full camel pose, you'll release the hands down to your heels. I have to curl my toes under when I do it. My back bend is not incredible, so there we go. Now make sure if you're doing this variation, you're not letting your hips drop back. So press your hips forward, open your heart.
I also don't drop my head all the way back. Oh, and that's coming to child's pose. Some people do drop their head all the way back. I used to be a rock climber, so I spend too much time looking up. And I prefer not to let my head just collapse backwards. And let's just take a few relaxing breaths. After a pose like camel, you really feel a lot of stuff coming up, right? We really feel out of breath, as you can hear by my voice. So we just rest it out. And then we'll walk the hands back towards the knees again. And we're going to come in our back. Bring your knees into your chest. Just rock a little left to right, massaging out the lower back. Placing the hands on the kneecaps and drawing your knees in the same direction in a big circle. And totally massaging out that area. Take your knees around in the opposite direction. Release your left leg down to the floor, but pull your right knee into your chest. Now we're going to press the right leg up to the ceiling and take the hands, interlace them behind the thigh. See if you can straighten your leg as much as possible. Maybe you can even walk the hands up the back of the leg and get more of a stretch. Sometimes people can even grab their big toe. But if you're not anywhere close to this, that's fine. Once you find the stretch, you're in the right pose. So just look for your variation. We'll gently release that leg back down to the ground. We're going to bring the left knee into the chest now. Squeeze it as hard as you can into your towards your body. And then press your foot up towards the ceiling, flexed. Take your hands behind your thigh. Bring the leg a little closer to you. Keeping the right leg completely relaxed. And gently release this leg down to the ground. Let's bring the soles of the feet to the floor. Bring your feet nice and wide. Walk them to the edges of the mat. And just let your knees begin to sweep left to right. Just like windshield wipers. Yeah, and then we're going to straighten out the legs for Shavasana, or maybe you want to bring the soles of the feet together and let your knees fall out, whatever feels good. The palms are going to be facing upwards for Shavasana, and we're just going to take 5 minutes or so to completely reward ourselves and relax for the next few moments. Try not to let the mind wander too far, just let it go. Let it relax. Just as your body relaxes, let the mind relax.
And then if you feel like you need more time in Shavasana, just feel free to stay there. No rush getting out of Shavasana. If you're ready to make your way out of Shavasana, take your time. Bring your knees into your chest very slowly. Give yourself another hug. Begin to lengthen your inhale to awaken the body. We'll roll over to one side to come up. Gently pressing into the ground to a seated pose. So thank you for joining me for this short flow. There are more progressive flows that I'll be doing on YouTube. So follow me if you'd like to learn more yoga in this style and get better at it. Thank you for joining me today. Namaste.